Hi, I'm Toya Brasky from Galveston, Texas. My Facebook and X account is Galveston Psychic Paranormal Researcher. I'm also under Toya Brasky on Facebook and also on Instagram. I wanted to send a message to Elon Musk and to Donald Trump. Now, you know, there are a lot of things that I really admire about both of you. Generally, I have always been a Democrat, except the Biden administration completely ruined that for me. I've never been a Republican, mostly because I grew up very poor. And I've seen the struggles of my parents, of my friends, of my own life. And I think Elon Musk can identify with that. And so there have been things to me that were so important, like when we were growing up, we didn't go to the doctor because we couldn't afford to. There are things like I had to go to work when I was 14 years old, or I wouldn't have school clothes, or I wouldn't have lunch money. So I actually lied to the Social Security Administration and said that I was 16 when I was 14. So there are a lot of things that greatly affect my heart concerning Americans, and one of those big things is health care. Now, in the recent month of February and March, I've been going back and forth to the hospital almost week to week, trying to do it on my days off because I can't afford to take a single day off from work. Even though I have a crisis, I could not afford to take even a single day off. Over 40 years ago, when I was 20, I'm now 61. I had 2 lumpectomies for lumps in my breast. Breast cancer does run in my family. So at that time, they had taken out 2 separate lumps from my breast, and they had taken out tissue which left my breast uneven. So for symmetry, they actually put in breast implants. Those breast implants were silicone, and they were actually recalled about 1 year after I actually got the implants. But at the time, I was offered a settlement and I was offered to have them removed. I said at that time I did not want another surgery, that I was fine. I was not interested in the money. I just wanted to keep them in my body. So for the past 40 years, they were basically fine until last year when I started having symptoms of leakage. So my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in her late 70s, but it never really dawned on me that I may be a person who could also inherit that from her. Maybe it was denial. Maybe I just didn't want to know. So when I went to the doctor about a month ago for the leakage coming from my chest, which is pretty severe, immediately they wanted to do MRIs, breast scans of every kind, ultrasounds. And during that time, they found bilateral masses in both breasts, and they discovered that both mastectomy implants had ruptured, and I have silicone leaking in my body. Now, you would think that I would just go straight to the hospital, but I couldn't, because working a job that has no benefits, no sick pay, no vacation pay, all I could do is try to take care of this on my days off. Now, as of March the 31st, I'm having biopsies, not only for my breast, but also for my uterus. They found abnormalities in both places. So I have this fear that I don't have close family where I can go stay with my family. If this turns out to be cancer, either uterine cancer or breast cancer, I have absolutely no one that I can fall back on. No one. So my choices would probably be, I would probably have to postpone treatment so that I could continue to work on the expectation that in October 25, I will be 62. And at that time, maybe I could draw what little Social Security that I have, which is not much. It's basically around $1,300 per month. But at least it is something. So, recently I've been very upset when I've heard about the Social Security threats from your administration. Because number one, I think that the entire Social Security system is made to keep people poor. Let me explain that. I think that we paid our entire lives from 14 to 61 now into that system. And absolutely every single person that paid into that system as of 2025 should be grandfathered and should get their money. Absolutely, no doubt. Now, if you want to make changes, why don't you start with new people starting the workforce in 2025, whether they be 16 and getting their first job, or whether that be a divorcee wife that gets her first job, or someone who is just starting out in the system. And the changes that you can make is that they no longer have to pay into Social Security, because as of 2025, you're going to change that system where they have to invest their own money, and actually they'll have extra money because they're not paying into Social Security. I'm a very logical thinking person. And I'm going to advise you really need a different public relations advisor, because some of the things that y'all are doing is so mean-spirited that you're losing people who used to respect you. Now, Elon, I have told you in the past that I think that it is the ketamine, because ketamine is an anesthetic, and ketamine, one of the main side effects is inability to feel. Some of the things that y'all have been doing lately are just revolting to my soul. I'm a person who's very kind-hearted. I love people who are compassionate. And anytime I see any kind of cruelness, it just turns my stomach. So recently, the Trump administration, and specifically Elon Musk, went in and fired several federal workers. Now, the problem with that to me is how you did it. See, you cannot just walk in and assume that someone is guilty before proven innocent, because in America we have a different system where you are innocent until you are proven guilty. So this is disturbing to me. This is tyranny. This is something that should not be happening in our country. So you basically went in to the federal workers' jobs, no matter what department it was, and said that you are basically fired. Your department is closed down. That should have never happened. What you should have done is, if you wanted to close those departments, think logically, then you should have said, I'm sending out a memo that we will be closing down these particular departments. At this time, if you would like to transfer to another federal job, we will transfer you, but in the coming days or months, you are going to be, you're going to be, what do you call it? I can't think of it. You're going to be reviewed on your performance. So, sorry, I couldn't think of the word right now. But you are under review of your job performance. Now, where I feel sorry for these workers is most of them are not guilty at all. Now, maybe someone above them in the system didn't check things, never did their job, and so a lower worker is not going to know what's going on with the system with millions and millions of people. So I feel like it was unjust that you came in and you caused thousands of federal workers to lose their job, to have anxiety, to have fear of not receiving their income. Now, I understand that they were paid during this time, but still the way that you did it is not ethical in any way. And then with this fighting with Social Security, there's like something like 70 million people on Social Security. That includes our elderly. That includes people who are truly disabled. That includes people like me who absolutely, if I end up being diagnosed with cancer, I'm going to need some kind of income to fall back on, whether that be Social Security disability, which I feel like if I am diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, regardless of the treatment that I choose, that should absolutely be covered because it is a major illness. I cannot be expected to be under chemotherapy, radiation with stage 4 cancer, trying to go to work every day while I am deathly ill. Now, if I can't get Social Security disability, then that means that I have 7 months. This is March. I have to wait until October. Actually, I'm going to file 3 months ahead of time because of the paperwork. But I would just get my regular Social Security. I paid all my life into that over 46 years. That money is my money. And I also have a problem with how Social Security is set up. Why do they want everyone to remain poor? That is our money that we invested. It's ours. No government should be able to say, look, this is the way you have to use it, or we're going to take money back. That's just complete thievery. Because how it should be is we get that check no matter what on the time that we decide to take our Social Security, whether that be 62 or 67, that we get a check every month. Now, there should be no limitations, none whatsoever, on how much we can make or have to pay it back. Because what we should be doing with that money is, if we want to invest with that money but continue working, then wonderful. We have a check coming in every month that's extra money that we can do all sorts of things with. If I want to work 7 months out of the year, but I have a relapse and I get sick, well, at least I have the comfort of knowing that I could say, you know what? I need my check at least for the next 5 months. So it should be done like that. Like, I should be able to say, you know what? Let me put a halt on this Social Security if I want to. I could halt it at any time and say, you know what? I really don't need it at this time because I'm working for the state again. So I want to put a halt on it, but I want to keep it for future use. Or we could do something like continue to send me a check. And then every month that I don't need that check, it can go into my savings account. That's a wonderful idea to build up my savings. Or it could be my mad money if I want to take a vacation. If I have to go in the hospital for a couple of weeks and I can't work, it's my extra money that I earned that I should be able to do anything that I want to do with. Now, I have been watching your administration, and like I said, there's so many things that I admire about Trump, that I admire about Elon. I always did. In fact, at one time, I think I had a crush on both of you. When I was younger, I had a crush on Trump. I actually went to New York City. And over the past year, I had a crush on Elon because I was attracted to that jovial Elon that seems nice, that seems very happy and laughing and things like that. But one of the things that I hate the most, the characteristics that I hate, absolutely hate, and cannot stand to be around, is cruelty. And I've felt like I've witnessed absolute cruelty to federal workers, absolute cruelty to our vets, to our veterans who fought in wars, who should have never been sent to other countries to fight other people's wars. And now you want to take away their benefits? This is just sickening to my soul. I think about people on Social Security like my mother, who pays her mortgage with her Social Security from her marriage to my father who died. I think about my brother who's on disability. I think about myself. If in the next few weeks I'm diagnosed with some kind of stage 4 cancer in my breast or in my uterus, what am I going to do? I think that it's awful that in America, out of 78 countries that have universal health care, that there's nothing like that in the US. So if a person becomes critically ill or terminally ill in the US, most of those people are not going to be able to afford their medical bills. They are going to go bankrupt. A lot of them feel like they have no choice whatsoever, like they have no options. Now, I know you like to put down healthcare.gov, but it is really sad that you do that, because let me tell you something. I worked for the state of Texas 3 times. Before I had state of Texas jobs, I had Obamacare. I had Blue Cross and Blue Shield through Obamacare. That Obamacare in the beginning was better than any of my state of Texas full coverage insurance. I never got a bill. I didn't have a deductible. I didn't have co-pays. It paid almost 100% of my health care. Now, when Republicans came into office in 2016, they destroyed almost every plan that there was. And now, healthcare.gov offers the most minimal coverage available. For instance, my job that I currently work does not have benefits. So I had to file for healthcare.gov because I knew that with the leakage that was coming from my chest that I had a serious issue. So I had to file for healthcare.gov. I got one of the plans that was medium coverage. I looked over 26 different plans, and the best that I could get probably pays 70% of my medical bills. I have co-pays on everything that I have to do for every single one of these medical tests that I've went back and forth on this month. I've paid so far in the month of March at least $1,500 out of my paycheck, and I only bring home about $2,200 per month. Now, you know how I made it this month? I made it because my landlady knows that I'm sick. She's in her 90s, and she said, Toya, I know you're a great person. You're a wonderful person. Go ahead and pay me at the end of the month instead of the first of the month so you can get caught up. Now, am I caught up? No, I didn't pay my utilities last week because I had to go to the hospital and have more tests. So I'm going to pay my utilities out of the coming check this week. And then what's left of that check is going to go towards my biopsies that are scheduled for the 31st. And then after that, I am absolutely facing surgery. I have to have surgery no matter what because of the ruptured implants that are leaking silicone in my breast. Now, regardless of whether these masses that are bilateral on both sides of my breast are benign or cancerous, I'm probably going to have surgery to have them removed. And if I have cancer, I can't even imagine what I'm going to do. I mean, I really feel like I can't afford to take chemotherapy and be so sick that I can't go to work. So I think I would have to forfeit treatment just to continue to work until October. That's if y'all don't go ahead and take Social Security from us. If I have cancer and you take Social Security away from the American people and away from me, I'm probably going to die if I have cancer. Now, that doesn't seem to matter to America because many people before me died because they couldn't get proper health care. And that's a shame. That is really a shame in America, who calls itself the greatest country in the world. It's so sad to me. I think that before you make these major moves upon your own government people or the American people, first say to yourself, do no harm. Do no harm. Think about the repercussions of your actions before you take action. Now, I absolutely understand and I respect that you want to clean up these government offices. I do believe with my whole heart there has been so much fraud. The American people have been taken advantage of year after year after year. I know that you mean well in what you do. I know that you are trying to clean up America, that you are trying to expose the fraud. But you have to do it in a way that doesn't hurt innocent people. I mean, you can still investigate. You can still go in and look at all the records. You can share your findings. And of course, you can eliminate government offices, but not the ones that people depend on for a living. I mean, there are people, even children, receiving Social Security where their parents have died and they're receiving benefits to live or to exist simply because Social Security is available. And like I said, please know that there is a way to do this. There's a way to be fair. There's a way to say, you know what? Every single person who has had Social Security for many years, who paid into it their entire life as of 2025, are grandfathered. you absolutely will get your money. But anyone new in 2025, as of the signing of a new bill, will not pay Social Security. And then those people are on their own for investing their own money for retirement. I think that that's fair. So I'm going to try to take off this mask. I am a person who does a lot of social media and cosplay. I don't even know if I can get it off, really. Let me see. I may not be able to get it off. Let's see. Ah, man. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So, behind the mask, this is me.